Tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
Nervous about the lack of care.
People in and around Kamloops are worried after every obstetrician gynecologist at that city's hospital resigns.
Nothing changes for patients right now.
We could see this spreading across the province.
Plus,
the findings of the report are extremely serious.
a leaked report says a celebrated Vancouver researcher used fabricated data and hid evidence of infected wounds to falsely claim his patented skin treatment could quickly heal bed sores. And
when you're having threats online, you're concerned for your families, you're concerned for yourselves.
the Union for Federal Food Workers, tasked with killing hundreds of ostriches at a BC farm, says staff have been threatened by farm supporters.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Dan Burritt. Thanks for joining us. Every obstetrician gynecologist at Kamloops' hospital has announced they will stop delivering babies and tending to people in labor. In a scathing letter, the doctors say safety issues have forced their hand. But as Katie DeRosa reports, health officials say they are working to recruit replacements.
The 7 obstetrician gynecologists at Royal Inland Hospital in Kamloops admit that a mass resignation is unprecedented. The OBGYNs will no longer provide in-hospital care like labor, delivery, and C-sections once replacements can be found. In a searing letter to community health providers, the group says, quote, safety issues due to changing workload and inability to recruit have over many years pushed us to a point where without sufficient Interior Health Authority and provincial support, we are unable to continue with in-hospital care. They continue, hopefully, the near total loss of low and high-risk obstetrics in Kamloops will galvanize Interior Health and the province to support the health of women in our community the way they deserve. CBC News contacted all of the physicians who signed the letter, but none were willing to do an interview.
Nervous about the lack of care.
The news is distressing for this Kamloops mother, 20 weeks pregnant with her second child.
And hoping that everything with my own delivery goes smoothly.
Interior Health is working to reassure the community that care will not be compromised.
Nothing changes for patients right now.
Its CEO says the physicians will withdraw their services over several months and will not leave until the replacements are hired. The health authority says it has identified 12 other OBGYNs who are interested in working in Kamloops.
This news, although it's challenging in terms of the hospital and in terms of the community's anxiety, I just wanted to make sure people understand that this is a long process.
BC's health minister says she hears the physicians' worries.
It's obviously very concerning to see a group of physicians who feel pushed to this point.
But a Kamloops MLA says the doctor's concerns are not limited to that community.
I shudder to think what that means for Prince George, as we saw their challenges over the summer. Pediatrics in Kelowna was under siege.
Doctor shortages did lead to the temporary closure of the pediatric ward at Kelowna General Hospital this summer. 3 doctors were hired and pediatric services are back to normal. Katie DeRosa, CBC News, Victoria.
A joint investigation by CBC News and the Investigative Journalism Foundation has uncovered a case of serious academic misconduct at UBC that includes allegations of falsifying results collected on human trial subjects. A professor in the Department of Plastic Surgery claimed to have invented what could have been a miracle cure. But as Michelle Gassoub explains, when the university found the research to be compromised, the professor quietly retired, and those findings were kept hidden from the public. Until now.
This is a story about a plastic surgeon who claimed to have invented what would have amounted to a miracle cure for a devastating skin condition. But in reality, the data behind it was allegedly fabricated and infections on human trial subjects hidden. Dr. Aziz Gahari, a UBC researcher, invented a liquid skin substitute called Meshfill. He said it could cure chronic pressure ulcer wounds, known more colloquially as bed sores. They can affect people who use wheelchairs, people with diabetes, and anyone who spends a lot of time in a hospital bed. And once you get one, they're really painful, very hard to treat, and can stay with you for years.
It would be close to miraculous, really. Pressure injuries have the biggest impact on quality of life of any of the complications common to people with spinal cord injuries.
Mesh fill promised to cure years-old sores in just 2 weeks, but the research told a very different story. This document shows the University of British Columbia knew all of this, but never told the public about what happened, even after promoting the product themselves. We know this because CBC News and the Investigative Journalism Foundation obtained a copy of this document, a 64-page investigation into plastic surgeon Aziz Gahari and his product, Mesh Fill. The investigation into the research was done by an outside panel of experts hired by UBC. It found these false claims gave patients and funders false hope by falsely claiming that Mesh Fill had quickly healed chronic pressure ulcer wounds. He also potentially endangered the health of future human trial subjects when Dr. Gahari falsely claimed that there had been no adverse effects during the pilot study. The results of this investigation were never made known to the public until now. Gahari quietly retired from his job at UBC shortly after the investigation was complete. He declined our request to sit down for an interview. His lawyer said this wasn't by choice, that he is legally bound by confidentiality obligations that prevent him from commenting on the matters you have raised, even to defend himself. That experts who reviewed the report for us said this kind of academic misconduct is serious.
The findings of the report are extremely serious. There are a lot of things that go on with this pilot study that simply shouldn't happen.
So what exactly went wrong with this study? The report points to a number of things. The team set out to find 12 spinal cord patients to test Mesh Fill. When they couldn't find patients that fit that profile, the study was expanded to patients suffering from surgery wounds. A nurse working on the study recorded official measurements to see if the wounds were shrinking. The UBC investigation found that Gahari and his lab team recorded their own measurements of the patient's wounds, even visiting one of them at home. This went against the approved protocol. And the UBC report found there were, quote, significant discrepancies between Gahari's lab team's data and the data recorded by the nurse.
The very basic point, there's not supposed to be two sets of data when a study like this is taking place. There's supposed to be one set of data. And it's data that Dr. Gahari is not supposed to be playing a role in generating because of his financial conflict of interest.
In the end, Mesh Fill improved some of the surgical wounds, but none of the pressure ulcer wounds fully healed, and a handful showed signs of infection. The nurse told investigators, "I would never use it for chronic wound healing because of the infections she observed." But the report found that Gahari continued to promote Mesh Fill as successful on YouTube, in a presentation to WorkSafe BC, and in applications to expand the study. In his defense, Gahari said he didn't know not all patients in the study had pressure wounds, but the report found he would have had access to all patient medical records. His lawyer said in a statement, to portray an individual's entire legacy through the narrow lens of a single confidential event risks creating an inaccurate and damaging public narrative. They said Gahari has nothing to hide in relation to his career as a scientist and is proud of his career achievements. UBC also declined to speak to us for this story, saying privacy law prevents UBC from commenting on allegations of scholarly integrity you've raised. But the ethics experts we spoke to said this should have been made public, especially since Mesh Fill was publicly promoted by the university.
And so I think when these investigative reports disappear from view, are never made public, there's an important educational opportunity that just never takes place. And of course, that's in some respects advantageous for the institution because they don't have to deal with very challenging questions that might be embarrassing, certainly don't fit a good PR storyline.
Many questions remain, including were the patients in the human trial ever informed about this investigation and its results? And when a university promotes a product later found to be the result of problematic research, what is their responsibility to the public? Michelle Gassoub, CBC News, Vancouver.
A strong smell of gas had passengers at YVR on the move inside the domestic terminal earlier in the day. Well, the terminal wasn't evacuated, passengers were moved, and there were some minor impacts on flights. Fire crews arrived, figured out where the smell was coming from, and it was contained. YVR later said the leak was from some routine maintenance work being done on one of the boilers. Passengers have been urged to check with their airlines for any delays. Meanwhile, authorities are looking into how and why several Canadian airports had their public address and flight info systems hacked. Airports in Victoria, Kelowna, and Windsor, Ontario began broadcasting pro-Hamas, anti-Trump messages. The systems were quickly shut down, but some flights were briefly delayed in Kelowna. The mayor of Dawson Creek says people in his community are doing their part to help conserve the city's dwindling water supply.
And our community has done a phenomenal job of conserving water. So we were generally use about 6,000 cubes a day. And the last I heard, we were down around 4,000. So yeah, so our community is definitely listening and doing a good job to conserve water.
As Dawson Creek has about 150 days of water in its reservoirs, but winter weather threatens to freeze out the Kaskatna River from replenishing that. The city has declared a local state of emergency as it works to secure a temporary water source this winter. The local government plans to pump water 50 kilometers overland from the Peace River, a temporary lifeline as it works with the province to build a permanent pipe, a project that could take years to complete. The Union for Canadian Food Inspection Agency employees tasked with carrying out a cull of nearly 400 birds at a BC ostrich farm because of avian flu concerns says workers have been receiving threats from farm supporters. The national president of the Agriculture Union says those threats have mainly been online, and those supporting the farm have beliefs which align with Canada's convoy protesters.
You know, when you're having threats online, you're concerned for your families, you're concerned for yourselves. And you're not sure who these people are online and whether they would actually be able to do these terrible things.
Dick says the RCMP is investigating the threats. The bird cull is on hold as the Supreme Court of Canada considers an appeal application. A report commissioned by BC's chief coroner has found little progress being made on understanding, recognizing, and cutting the risk of youth suicide in this province. The BC Coroner's Service says while the number of young people dying by suicide is relatively unchanged here, it remains the second most prevalent cause of death among children and youth in BC.
I want to be careful to caution that the number of deaths should not be correlated with the state of mental health in BC. I think, anecdotally, we've seen and heard from young people that this is a very trying time to be young in this province.
A death review panel commissioned by the province studied the deaths of 435 people between the ages of 9 and 25 between 2019 and 2023. It found some groups to be at high risk because of historical factors.
In BC, the rate of death among status First Nations youth and young adults is 4 times higher than the provincial rate, a fact inextricably linked to colonialization.
The review also made 5 recommendations, including more training for medical staff, improved data collection, and a review of existing resources. Now, this coverage can be upsetting for some people. If you need help, you can reach the BC Crisis Line 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The number is 1-800-784-2433. That is also 1-800-SUICIDE. They offer help in more than 140 languages. Darius Madavi is here with a glance at the weather. Another gorgeous day along the south coast as we wait for something.
That's right. Blue skies across most of BC, at least this morning. We're starting to see some moisture start to feed into the far northwest. It's going to continue to make its way down the north coast and the central coast and eventually make its way down here to the south coast. Now, this is the satellite imagery we saw today. Again, blue skies across southwestern BC. But as you can see here, we're going to start to see some of that rain move into the North Island, parts of the west coast of the island by tomorrow morning. It's going to continue to work its way down. Areas like Tofino may start to see a few showers popping up tomorrow afternoon and evening. Then we clear up again for the most part on Friday. We may see overnight Thursday into Friday a few showers popping up in parts of the lower mainland. But then again, we see a little bit more blue sky, cloud coming in and out. But once we get into Saturday, the rain is back and it's here to stay into the weekend. We may see some tapering off into Sunday with just a few showers. But some of that heavy rain, Dan, definitely on the way. And we'll talk more later in the show about the wind as well.
Okay, Darius, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Still ahead, Canada's auto sector is again reeling after taking another major hit in the wake of U.S. tariffs. That story is next. Automaker Stellantis is moving part of its Canadian production to the United States. That decision was announced as part of a multi-billion-dollar investment to expand production south of the border. Prime Minister Mark Carney says the move is a direct consequence of American tariffs. Nisha Patel has more reaction and what it means for workers.
Stellantis won't build its Jeep Compass SUV at this assembly plant in Brampton, Ontario. Instead, the company is moving production across the border to Illinois.
There's been a lot of uncertainty and anxiety from our members.
The plant was scheduled to reopen this year, but Stellantis paused retooling in February after U.S. President Donald Trump slapped a 25% tariff on foreign-made autos. With the plant's future now up in the air, more than 3,000 jobs are at risk.
We're not taking this sitting down. We're not just going to sit here and say that's okay, because it's not okay.
It comes as Stellantis plans to spend $13 billion over the next 4 years to boost its American auto production by 50%, creating more than 5,000 jobs in the U.S.
We share with President Trump his goal to have, again, manufacturing system in automotive very strong in U.S.
This is the consequence of these Trump tariffs, this attack on the Canadian economy. And it's not just the Stellantis employees. There's going to be many associated auto parts jobs that are affected by this.
Ontario's auto sector has struggled since the trade war began. Earlier this year, GM cut 750 jobs in Oshawa as it boosted manufacturing at one of its plants in Indiana.
It doesn't stop at auto. They will keep coming until they have weakened us as a nation and as an economy. And that is something we can't stand for.
In a statement to CBC News, Stellantis insists it is investing in Canada by adding a third shift to its plant in Windsor, Ontario. Stellantis says it does have plans for this Brampton plant and says it will share them after it meets with the federal government. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Brampton, Ontario.
Well, as flu season begins across the country, a national advocacy group for seniors is speaking out about the differences in access to vaccines depending on where you are. The group says where you live can greatly impact your ability to get a shot. Shanna Locke has that story.
Debbie Lewis-Boyce takes care of herself. Now retired from a career in healthcare, she goes to the gym in Halifax regularly. And on this day, on her way home, she stopped in to get her annual flu and COVID vaccine.
I'm very much pro preventive healthcare. I've seen the repercussions of people that haven't taken care of themselves, and if they don't take care of themselves, they can't take care of their families.
This is the start of Nova Scotia's annual flu and COVID vaccine campaign, a busy day of appointments for pharmacist Jamie Flynn.
They signed up this first day that the system went live, and so I've got people that are very interested in preventative health in now.
But not every province covers the same vaccines in the same way. Seniors advocate Laura Tamblin-Watts says Atlantic Canada has made strides in covering more vaccines for the older population. She says that's cheaper for the healthcare system long term.
And so for areas that are really under strain, putting adult vaccination to the fore is the cheapest and most effective thing you can do to relieve that strain.
CanAge, a seniors advocacy group, just released a report card on vaccines for people over 50. Provinces like PEI and Nova Scotia scored highest, but some western provinces and territories lost points for gaps in coverage for diseases like shingles and RSV. And Alberta and Quebec lost points for introducing a charge for COVID-19 vaccines this year.
The troubling divide is when we're seeing jurisdictions like Alberta take steps in the wrong direction.
Bill Van Gorder says he's seeing Atlantic seniors take advantage of free vaccines, and particularly shingles.
They're having to make decisions on what gets paid for and what doesn't, and many people had decided to not get their vaccines because they couldn't afford them.
And as the cost of living increases, Van Gorder says free vaccines will become more important to keep Canadian seniors and the healthcare system in better shape. Shayna Luck, CBC News, Halifax.
There's a look at a spectacular fall day up on Grouse Mountain. A sure sign of the changing seasons, though. That is staff working away on what will be the mountain's ice rink. Darius has your BC-wide forecast coming up soon. Some mail has started moving across the country this week after Canada Post workers shifted from a nationwide strike to rotating job action. But the partial return to work came too late for many regions where elections are coming up and where important voting materials were stuck in limbo. As Marina von Stackelberg explains, that is prompting calls for change.
Canada Post was supposed to mail all these registration cards. But with municipal elections across Quebec just weeks away, officials like those in the town of Chelsea scrambled to get the information out in other ways.
We decided to deliver the card by a courier. The courier will ensure that everyone will receive a card and will have a proof of that.
The strike was so disruptive, the City of Montreal is now calling for all election materials to be deemed essential mail, so voter information and mail-in ballots aren't held hostage in any future Canada Post strikes.
The city of Gatineau paid a bailiff to deliver its registration cards. So instead of serving legal notices, they served election information. In most parts of Canada, you can just register to vote on election day. Not in Quebec. Here, voters have to make sure they are correctly on the list this week to make sure they can cast their ballot next month.
We're really focused on getting all the polling places organized now.
People across Yukon also go to the polls in November, so the territory has a contingency plan. Mail-in ballots have been delivered with a patchwork of services by road and air. Elections Yukon also loosened the rules for in-person voting. People can now show up at any polling station in their electoral district.
We have a kind of a philosophy and approach here that everything is figure-outable. And obviously we want to make sure that we keep the integrity, the access, the services to the electors.
Alberta's municipal elections are next week. Like many other jurisdictions across Canada, that province has made voter information accessible online. So while voter registration cards aren't essential to cast a ballot, they do play a vital role.
The best way after personal contact to get somebody to be mobilized to go to the polls is through this sort of direct mailing information.
Those cards are particularly important in provincial, territorial, and municipal elections, where the rules can all be different and voter turnout already tends to be low. Marina von Stackelberg, CBC News, Gatineau, Quebec.
Tensions with the U.S. over trade have some questioning if buying American-made F-35 fighter jets is still the right decision for Canada. David Common looks into what goes into building that cutting-edge fighter and found a surprising Canadian connection.
This will be the most expensive fighter jet Canada has ever purchased. But with cross-border tensions now, is a plane built by an American defense company still right for Canada? We have the option of buying 88 planes, but we're only contractually obligated to buy 16 of them.
What I'd like to see, Canada become our 51st state.
Talk like this has threatened to scuttle the deal.
The fact that Canadian industry plays a major part in building this platform and has continued to grow in that, and the economic impact that it provides back to Canada. Canada is definitely a part of this F-35 platform.
He has a point. While the fighter jets are assembled here in Texas, parts come from a global supply chain. And because Canada has been part of this program for decades, Canadian suppliers are among those putting parts in, including here in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia at Stellantis, which makes composite parts.
I mean, anybody I talk to and say that we're manufacturing F-35 aircraft parts in Nova Scotia are shocked to know that that's what we're doing for work.
If the government backed away from the deal, it could hit the Canadian contractors who would lose preferential access. Others argue Canada could cut short the F-35 order and add in a cheaper jet to our fleet. Top of that list is often the Gripen, produced by NATO ally Sweden.
You have to remember that 70% of the cost of a aircraft is its long-term support, not its acquisition. And with regard to that, the Gripen E, for instance, is 1/6 the cost per hour flying cost as the F-35.
But what makes the decision all the more complicated is that these planes may be assembled in America, but parts are built in Canada. So canceling has implication to workers and investment on both sides of the border. David Common, CBC News, Fort Worth, Texas.
Well, support for the Toronto Blue Jays is on full display right across the border in Seattle. That's where the team is playing Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. They're down 2-0, but right now the Jays lead 7-2 at the top of the 5th inning. The CBC's Jamie Strachan caught up with Canadians before the first pitch.
At Seattle's famous Pike Place Market and all around the city, Blue Jay fans everywhere.
We're huge Blue Jays fans. There's a 14-hour road trip. We're like, yeah, we got to go make it happen, and we're so excited.
Some cross the border by car.
We thought, when's the next time they're going to be in this situation? So we bought tickets and told our husbands the next day.
You leave them at home?
We left them at home.
Gonna have so much fun down in Seattle. Go Blue Jays.
On our way to the Blue Jays Mariners.
Others by plane or boat. Blue Jay enthusiasm aside, this is still Mariner territory. Not everyone is a Blue Jay believer. Blue Jays are coming back to win the series, right? No! For a typical Blue Jay game played here in Seattle, usually about half the crowd cheering for the Jays. Not quite that many today, but still Blue Jay fans well represented.
All the way from northern BC, 12 hours from Vancouver, to help the Jays win this game.
Enemy territory down here.
I don't care. Do any of them have one of these? That's what I'm talking about, eh?
I'm a sports fan, so it doesn't matter where they're playing, I'm gonna go.
Go Blue Jays!
The Jays appreciate it all.
Go Jays!
I think that when you get into some pretty loud, hostile environments, regular season or postseason here, we're expecting it to be loud. So I think to have, a good little chunk of Blue Jay fans would be good for the guys.
Go Jays!
With an uphill climb to get back into this series, the Jays need all the help they can get. Woo! Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Seattle.
New guidelines for teenagers on Instagram are set to limit even more content recommended to people who are under 18 years old. Last September, Meta, the social media giant, brought in several teen account user limits, like defaulting those accounts to private, barring direct messages from strangers, and seeing sexually suggestive or violent posts. Now, Meta's latest change means even recommendations for posts with strong language, risky stunts, or age-inappropriate content are barred. For more on this, we're now joined by SFU Assistant Professor of Developmental Psychology, Joanna Peplak. You're also the director of the Grow to Care Lab, where you have been working on a study. Tell us more about what you're working on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So my PhD student, Vanessa Lucchesi, and I are working on a study looking at how parents prepare their children for independent media use and the ways that children think and feel about positive interactions on social media. So we're recruiting families with 10 and 12-year-olds, looking at the period just before maybe they independently launch into the social media world. And we do a lot of different tasks with them. So we have them engage in conversations together. We interview them separately, and we get them to fill out some questionnaires about child development and getting at their experiences and their opinions. So we hope to identify the best practices for equipping critical thinking as children are interacting with online content. Hopefully, providing families with tips and tricks to develop these skills for children to engage kindly and responsibly online.
Now, I understand this study is still open and you're looking for participants, but so far, are you seeing any patterns in how families allow social media use?
Yeah, so some patterns, we don't have too many data points right now, but what we're seeing is that parents mostly focus on screen time limits. So setting, 1 hour every day during the weekdays and a couple hours on weekends, and not so much on the types of content that they're engaging with. So this focus on screen time rather than the quality of screen time interactions.
Mm-hmm. So Meta's latest limits basically follow PG-13 guidelines for movies for people who remember those. Do you think that goes far enough?
Yeah, I think any policy that puts, the care and concern for children and families at the center and uses data-driven, insights is a step in the right direction. Limiting harmful exposure while allowing youth to connect, I think, is great. But the reality is that we can't protect children from all harm. So, the best we can do is instill these family practices to really equip children, with the skills to be able to navigate, potentially harmful content that they might be exposed to above and beyond these restrictions.
And with that, what are the phrase I'm using is moral damages? I've read that that unmitigated social media can perhaps inflict on a young mind.
Yeah, so we know from a lot of research that children learn from observation. So what they see, they could learn from and imitate. And so if they're seeing and being exposed to harmful content, they might try and engage in that harmful content. What's unique about social media is that they also see endorsements from people and comments from others. And so if they're seeing that these behaviors are popular or that they're endorsed, they might think that they're maybe normal to engage in. And so, they're susceptible because they're learning about the world and they're importantly learning about themselves. And so this need for independence that adolescents experience and express, and this need for belonging is what makes them particularly susceptible to what they experience online.
Joanna Peplack, Assistant Professor of Developmental Psychology at SFU. We appreciate your time. You've given us a lot to think about.
It was a pleasure. Thanks so much.
A new way of spreading manure that's better for the environment and less pungent as well. We'll take you to Prince Edward Island for the hot poop next. The countryside of Prince Edward Island could soon be a little less pungent. Researchers are trying out a new way of using manure. The first tests show it's better for the environment and makes life happier for neighbors as well. More from Nancy Russell.
This PEI dairy farm has been testing out a new way of spreading manure, injecting it directly into the soil instead of spraying it, the way it has traditionally been done. These researchers have been comparing the results, including the greenhouse gas emissions. And so far, they say, the results have been impressive.
We were able to see a 35% reduction in nitrous oxide losses using the injection method compared to the conventional broadcast, which is significant.
Smith says a reduction in the gases being released means the nitrogen is staying in the soil, and the manure can do its work more effectively.
If you can save your nitrogen from your manure, you don't otherwise have to supplement with inorganic fertilizers.
They milk about 65 cows a day here at Red Oak Farms. The manure from the cows is a steady source of free fertilizer, which they are now injecting into the field.
We're getting it right down into the soil where the roots of the next crop will be to soak up those nutrients. And another benefit we've noticed is less odor from the manure, which again, the neighbors like that too, I think.
The manure injection can also save money.
Especially in a time when fertilizer costs are extremely volatile. There's a lot of geopolitical factors that are sort of shaking that market from year to year.
There's another PEI farm that is part of this project, looking at something called a dribble bar to apply manure. This equipment for injecting manure cost about $120,000, with some funding from the On-Farm Climate Action Fund.
It's a great system that is definitely demonstrating clear benefits in terms of our emissions loss, but also in terms of potential nutrient savings, reducing the amount of fertilizer we're using.
Trying to get a beneficial management practice that all farmers can use, anybody that's applying manure.
Smith says the research team hopes to be back on the farm next year to get a better understanding of the impacts of applying manure in new ways for the soil and for the environment. Nancy Russell, CBC News, Oyster Bed Bridge.
The weather update is brought to you by BC Cancer Foundation. Give today to bring more progress and possibilities to patients and their families. Your donation changes everything.
Our science and climate specialist Darius Badavi here with the BC-wide weather forecast. Gorgeous day across much of BC, but we're getting, and let's call it, some much-needed rain.
Yes, I would say so. Unfortunately, not necessarily coming to the places we needed it most, like the East Peace region, down in parts of the southern interior. But there is some rain on the way. That moisture is first going to reach, for the most part, parts of the north coast, central coast, and the North Island. That first wave of precipitation comes to tomorrow. Also probably reaching parts of the west coast down around Tofino in the afternoon, just as some light showers, but that heavier rain mostly confined to those more northern areas on the coast. But then it does continue its way down on Saturday, a second wave of that moisture down here to the lower mainland and other parts of the South Island as well. You can see that low pressure system up in Alaska that's really steering that storm. And once we get into Saturday, that other low pressure system actually moving onto the BC coast, spreading some very strong wind gusts as well. Still, I would say a little bit early to say where exactly we see the strongest wind gusts, but I'm going to go into a little bit, give you an idea of where we're going to see that. Again, this first wave is coming on Friday into Thursday into Friday, but the second wave doesn't come until the weekend. That's the wave that is too early to say where exactly we're going to see the strongest gusts. But for this first one, again, mostly confined to those more northern areas up on the north coast. And then we should start to see some of that come down our way here on the more southern sections of BC once we get into the weekend. That low pressure system that's coming in on Saturday, probably spreading some very gusty winds to pretty much all coastal areas on the island, as well as here in Vancouver as well. In terms of the precipitation that we're going to see, the amount of it, also still a little bit early to give any definitive amounts, but overnight tomorrow night, or overnight tonight into tomorrow, we'll start to see some of those accumulations on parts of the north coast, probably 10 to 20 millimeters coming for the North Island tomorrow, and very small amounts for the west coast of the island. And then a bigger wave comes again this weekend, probably looking at up in the range of 30 to 40 millimeters for parts of the island, but potentially higher than that in some isolated areas on parts of the west coast. In terms of temperatures, those remain fairly consistent with where they were today over the next couple days, maybe coming down a couple degrees. Once we get into Saturday, pretty severe drops, especially for areas of those higher elevations. Whistler dropping down to a high of 4 degrees on Saturday. Those freezing levels coming down pretty significantly. Again, that rain starts to break into parts of the central interior tomorrow, especially around Prince George, but maybe in the Caribou as well. And here's our 5-day forecast and mainly sunny day tomorrow. Those gusty winds come in on Friday and the heavy rain on Saturday.
Okay. Thanks very much, Darius.
Thank you.
Hamas handed over 2 more bodies of Israeli hostages late tonight, local time. The militant group says it's now fulfilled its commitment to the first stage of this peace deal, adding it can't get to any more bodies because they're buried under the rubble in Gaza. As Briar Stewart explains, that could mean trouble for the deal that stopped the fighting.
Hamas has returned 2 more bodies to Israel, but the militant group says it will not be able to retrieve any more deceased hostages at this point without the help of expertise and heavy equipment. Obviously, a large portion of Gaza has been reduced to rubble. Now, there has been rising tension over the past couple of days around the exchange of remains. Yesterday, Israel received 4 bodies, but after forensic identification tests, it said that only 3 of them belonged to hostages. Now, under this deal, for every 1 deceased hostage who was returned to Israel, Israel is supposed to return the bodies of 15 Palestinians. Gaza health officials say that it has received 90 bodies so far and that doctors are working there to try to identify them. But obviously there are capacity issues in Gaza. And what officials say is that if they aren't able to identify the bodies, then they will take photos and post them and hopefully have family members identify them that way. A freelance videographer working for CBC News has spoken to a few Gazans who said that their loved ones were last seen and heard from on October 7th, 2023. And over the past 2 years, they've been wondering whether or not they were killed that day or they ended up in Israeli detention. There continues to be questions around the amount of aid going into Gaza. As part of the deal, 16 aid trucks were supposed to enter every day, but Israel said that it was going to curtail aid over the delay in the exchange of bodies. And tomorrow, the Rafah crossing, which is between Egypt and Gaza, is supposed to reopen, but Israel has said it will only open for the transit of people, and this is mainly patients who have been severely injured and require medical treatment abroad. The ceasefire is holding, but it is precarious. Today, the Israeli military said it fired on Gazans who were approaching troop positions and had crossed the yellow ceasefire line. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Jerusalem.
A new CBC TV series celebrating Canada's diverse food scene is diving into Richmond this week. After the break, we check out 2 local spots.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and this is your CBC Inbox.
On October 29th, join CBC's Lian Young at the 16th Annual Chinese Restaurant Awards, celebrating Chinese culinary brilliance across Canada and Asia. For tickets and more information, visit ChineseRestaurantAwards.com and never miss a special programming series, event, or contest. Subscribe to CBC's e-newsletter today at cbc.ca/Vancouver Inbox.
A new TV series celebrating the richness of Canada's food scene is making its way to BC. Locals Welcome digs into immigrant communities to highlight the role food plays in preserving cultural identities.
The show, which is going to air here on CBC television, will feature Richmond this week. Our Jessica Chung checked out 2 of the restaurants involved.
Hey everyone, I am here in Richmond, which is being featured in a new docu-series called Locals Welcome, hosted by Suresh Das. And I'm here to check out 2 of the locations that are going to be featured in this upcoming episode. We're going to eat some food. Come with me.
Yeah. See,
oh my gosh.
Is that what you were expecting to see?
No, that is not what I expected to see.
Almost melts in your mouth, right? It disappears. It's delicate to the point where you have to be careful when you take it out of there so you don't break it, right?
We are at Golden Paramount, which is a dim sum restaurant here at Richmond, and right beside me is Suresh Das, which is the host of the new docu-series Locals Welcome. And thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, Jessica, it's great to reconnect here. I know you're originally from Markham.
I am.
I'm from Scarborough.
Oh, there we go.
You're in Richmond. It's great.
Absolutely. So we're here today to try out some dishes, to talk about your new show, but let's start with the new show. What is it about?
Locals Welcome for me is really a show about culture, people, and faces, and this idea of exploring micro communities throughout Canada, from Vancouver to Toronto to Montreal, and how these micro pockets, because of waves of immigration, really identify a certain kind of culture and cuisines.
Yeah, absolutely. So then one of these series, the one that's coming out on Sunday, is here in Richmond. Why Richmond?
Very excited about Richmond. Oh, I'm so jealous of Richmond coming from Toronto as a Toronto boy. Richmond is really this wonderful place because of 200 years of immigration, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, and now Turkish. You have this layer cake of all these regionally specific cuisines. So it's not just Chinese cuisine. It's Chinese cuisine from like Guangdong or like, Yunnan or like a certain part of China. We just don't have that regional specificity really anywhere else in Canada. And we're talking like Richmond, which is a pretty small place, in the West Coast. And I wanted to really tell that story as a visitor, as someone who loves to be curious.
Yeah, absolutely. So then going around Richmond to the different restaurants that you went to, anything that surprised you? Any main takeaways?
I think the really unique thing about Richmond, because of the waves of immigration, is that you have all these cuisines that are using local ingredients, like from local farms, from the Fraser River, from the ocean. So we just don't have that anywhere else. This is my favorite dish here at Golden Paramount, and you can't get this in Toronto. This is the morel sumai.
Wow.
So you think of the classic sumai, but she's sourced local morels, and she's using local pork and local shrimp.
Oh my goodness.
Looks beautiful, but there's a very specific taste with this that ever since I came to Richmond last time to film the show, I've been dreaming of this dish. Wow. Whoa, that's like even better than it was last time.
Really?
Yeah.
That is delicious.
It's got the sumai, but it's got a very different umami and the morel earthiness to it, which is what the chef here does. So our second spot, we're at Fishman, which is this incredible restaurant with an innovative chef right on Eat Street, Alexandra Road. And we're here to try a couple of my favorite dishes. Dungeness crab, the salted egg Dungeness crab, which we have here.
It's gorgeous.
And then gooey duck, which is one of the more interesting, unique ingredients on the West Coast. And there are 2 different versions of it here. Dim Sum restaurant we were at, it's more about tradition, but by using the local ingredients. What the chef is doing here is he's breaking barriers and trying to do new things with Chinese food or Hong Kong style food or different regions of China. So he's from the north, and he's trying to use local ingredients again. So everything you see here is local.
Wow.
From the ocean, from the sea, but he's preparing it in an interesting sort of like modern way.
Crispy texture on the outside
it's
and
delicious.
soft inside.
Oh my God, it's so good. And this has like a perfect amount of spice in it. What can we look forward to going forward?
Montreal, Toronto, parts of Toronto. So we explore the Maghreb community in Montreal, the Haitian community in Montreal, and then we do the Filipino community in North York. Lots of exciting stuff. A few hidden gems here and there.
All right, that's what you can look forward to. Thank you so much, Suresh, for doing this with us.
Jessica, this was an honor to eat with you in Richmond.
Tough assignment, Chung. Lord, that looks good. Jessica, that's the best.
I haven't been to either of those. I'm going to have to go check them out.
Absolutely, on the list.
Thanks for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News at 6. You can watch this newscast on CBC Gem, YouTube, and our website, cbc.ca/BC.
And we will have your next local news at 11 o'clock, right after the National. Good night.